ماغنس أولسون ونجاح كريم في الشرق الأوسط.
Magnus Olsson, we're happy having you on iTech show.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure having you on the show.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
You're the co-founder and the CXO of Careem.
Yes.
Careem, very well known in the Middle East and the region. It's a Middle Eastern startup. This is how you call it, right?
Yes, we started in Dubai 4.5 years ago, and now we have expanded in the region. We are in 11 countries from Morocco to Pakistan, more than 50 cities. But so yes, we're definitely from the region.
Obviously, a question might be asked by our viewers. You're not Middle Eastern.
No, so I'm Swedish. I've been in the Middle East for the last 10 years. And 10 years ago I came on a small project to the Middle East, and I met my wife, and she's Palestinian. So
She inspired you.
She inspired me, and I've been staying in the region ever since. The reason we started Careem was really we wanted to do something meaningful, and we realized that the opportunity of solving ground transportation could be a good starting point. And then, as you know, Careem in Arabic means generous.
Generous.
And so that's one of our core values. We want to be Careem to our customers, we want to be Careem to our captains, and we want to be Careem to our colleagues in the family. So.
And do you want the customer to be Careem with the driver?
We want the customers to be Careem with our captains as well, yeah. And that's why for us it's very important, the captain, and we call them captains, they're as important as a pilot is in a plane, right? The majority of the experience you have is not with our app or the technology or even the car. The biggest part of the experience is actually the captain. How is his navigation skills? How is his communication skills? How is his customer service skills? His personal hygiene? So we spend a lot of time investing in our captains and helping them to be successful. And it's so rewarding because you see these captains, typically from humble backgrounds, actually become mini entrepreneurs. So many of the captains that started with us in the early days, they have now maybe since bought another car, maybe a third car, and they have found other friends or family members that can drive, and they become small entrepreneurs themselves.
Interesting. So you meet every single captain you have?
We interview every single captain we have. And a little bit depending on the country, we also do quite extensive background checks.
How big is your fleet?
So we have 150,000 captains that work with us on the platform.
I never use Careem because I live in the US. Here we cannot pay cash to go Lyft or Uber.
Yeah.
We pay cash to Careem.
Yeah, so when we started, we only allowed the credit card as a payment. And also if you were a company, we could give you monthly billing. And then when we went to Saudi Arabia, our third co-founder, Dr. Abdullah Elias, he's a Saudi, he came on board our journey about 2 years into Careem. And we acquired his company called Anwani, and he joined the Careem family. And he was telling us, and the team in Saudi, they were telling us, you have to open for cash because the credit card penetration in Saudi Arabia is not that big. And even if people have a credit card, they might not want to use it online. And for the longest time, we were resisting it because while it's easy to add a button for cash on the app, the logistical operations of handling cash payments and collecting all this cash from captains, and that's challenging.
Right.
So for the longest time we said, no, this is too complex. But then we realized if we really want to serve this market, we need to do it. So we were going to do a small pilot, and we were going to run this pilot project for 4 weeks, and if successful, we were going to launch it. I think it was only 2 weeks into the pilot, we said, oh my goodness, this is doing so well. And we rolled out cash everywhere.
Everywhere?
Yeah, so now you can pay with cash anywhere with Careem.
So are you winning over Uber in the region?
Yeah, so we are definitely the leading car booking service in the region, yes.
Maybe one of the things that Uber maybe is obliged to go corporate policy from here, from wherever they are, and you are local, that's why it gives you the more flexibility to work on the ground?
I think, for us, the Middle East is our home. This is where we started, this is where we are building our product, and this is the communities that we care for. So if we get a request from Saudi or an idea we want to implement in Egypt, this is top of our agenda. If you're a global player and you're operating all around the world, I can imagine that you don't have the same priority to the region.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk finally about numbers. You're a successful example of a startup built in the Middle East, and now you're doing very well. So, in terms of funding, how did you start? Who funds you?
So we started by funding the business, putting a little bit of seed capital ourselves between the two founders. And then, like most, the journey is a very, I think, typical startup journey. So we started by getting some money from friends and family, about $500,000. And then STC Ventures, which is the venture arm of Saudi Telecom, they were the first institutional investors coming in, and they did our Series A round.
They did it while you are in UAE?
Yeah, we were still, I think we had just done maybe a few rides in Saudi Arabia by the time they came in.
Okay.
And then following that, we had our Series B round, which was led by Al Tayyar Group, the travel conglomerate in Saudi Arabia. And then Series C was led by Abraj Capital, the private equity. I think they are the largest emerging market, growth market private equity company in the world. And
how much was the series, the numbers?
Yeah, so Series B was about $10 million, and Series C with that Abraj led was $60 million. And now recently, end of last year, we closed the first tranche of our Series D, which was $350 million. And it was led by Rakuten, the Japanese e-commerce giant, along with STC, the main STC company in Saudi Arabia.
In Saudi Arabia. With your last round, what is your near future progress or projects that you're going to add to Careem service?
Yeah, so on the one hand, we want to keep growing both within the cities we are, and there's still a lot more room in the markets we are operating. And the vision for the next 2 years is to create 1 million jobs in the region for captains. Secondly, we want to expand because there is still countries and cities that we are not in the broader region. So we will expand to those. And thirdly, we will invest a lot in product and technologies. So we have recently opened a R&D center. We have R&D in Dubai and in Pakistan. And we have recently, last year, we opened an R&D center in Berlin as well. So we're kind of growing all these 3 hubs to fund our
Why in Berlin?
So we wanted to...
Because you're not in Europe yet.
Yeah, so we're not, the service is not operating in Europe. But we wanted to have, in addition to Dubai, which is quite attractive, it's a lot of talent is excited to come to Dubai and UAE. We also wanted to have one place in Europe where we could find people that had basically been part of these type of journeys before. Like how do you build technology that scales to this enormous scale that we're getting to? And we figured that having one hub in Europe that can help us attract people from globally that might, some people might not want to move to the region, and they are already in Europe, and so we wanted to have one center there as well. If you asked me 2 years ago what Careem was, I would have said, we are a ride-sharing business, ride-hailing business, car booking service. Today, if you ask me what is Careem, I actually say that we are crowdsourcing public transport infrastructure. There is enough people in society that have money to buy a car or 2 cars, 3 cars, and there is a lot of people that are looking for some extra employment opportunities that can drive. They don't necessarily have to be the same person. So, for example, in Pakistan, we're working with the government to provide youth business loans for people to be able to buy a car, and then we're providing vocational training for people to be able to learn the skills, both hard and soft skills to drive. And then all of a sudden, you have created a public transport infrastructure without the government having to actually have had to invest in building an expensive bus system or metro system. So we're super excited about
that's
about
really
what
exciting,
we're doing.
actually.
Yeah, and that's why, in many ways, what has happened also in other industries, some of these growth markets, they can leapfrog industries. I spent quite a lot of my time prior to Careem working in telecoms, and many growth markets, they don't build landline infrastructure, they go directly to mobile. Why should they build their own landline infrastructure when they can go directly to mobile? And I think this is going to happen in other industries as well, where we can just leapfrog to the latest and the greatest and bring it from the beginning.
Do people call you Careem from time to time?
Sometimes people say, "Who is this Careem?" And I think the funniest story is, the girl in the house. She's telling her dad, "Baba, take me to the mall," and he says, "No, I'm busy." And she speaks to her brother, "Akhi, take me to the mall." "No, I'm busy." And then she says, "Okay, I'm taking Careem." And then
Who's
people are,
Careem?
"Mean Careem." And no, Sharakat Careem. So yes, we get that a lot. Who's Careem?
Interesting. Who chose the name?
So it was actually both me and my co-founder. As I mentioned, we wanted to do something meaningful, and Careem meaning generous,
Yes.
and having a car in it, it was a sign. It was the best name we could have. So yeah.
I'm very happy to meet you, Magnus Olsson, co-founder and CXO of Careem. Pleasure having you on iTech.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you.